Okay, so here's how we use the selection software. So once you got the program loaded on your computer, make sure you are downloading the latest program from our website, because if you're using an older version and you're selling the new MultiPRO Ultra machine, that was added into the programming. So now this program, if you download the latest version, will have both the standard and the Ultra versions. So if you don't have the newer software, you won't be able to pull up the new um, MultiPro Ultra machine. So make sure you got the latest software. Once you have that and you got the program open, as I've got here, and we're going to go through it all. So it should say GREE LCAC Selector Ultimate. Across the top, you'll have your indoor unit, outdoor unit piping, wiring, central control, preview, and report. We'll talk about all of that. So the first thing we got to do is select our indoor units. So everything we sell is listed up here. Your air handlers, wall mounts, slim ducts, cassettes, whatever your intention to use is. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do an example program setup for you here. So we'll do air handler. And I always do manual selection, and it'll pull up the different air handlers in here. So let's do a 5-ton. Now I clicked it. It doesn't tell you for sure that it's going to stay there, but it does. And I'll show you what happens if that messes up on you. Okay. So, but also keep in mind down here, if you've got where your outdoor unit is above your indoors, you select here. If you're at the same level, you select here. If your outdoor unit is going to be below the indoor units, you select here. And if you highlight over, it kind of shows you the piping a little bit better. But so if you select here, meaning you're going to be at the same level, you can't change this height difference because it doesn't matter. You don't have a height difference. But if your condenser's above, you can change that. And I'll show you how you do that. You can just delete the 0 and type in 20. So now it's showing that the outdoor unit's above the indoor units, and you got a 20-foot drop to the indoor units. Now I can also do the other way around, select here, and I can always change that number as well. So make sure you're setting that up correctly. In here, as far as your dry bulb cooling temp, wet bulb temp, relative humidity you're shooting for, and heating, all of this only pertains if you're trying to make sure the equipment is meeting your design parameters. And you can very well do that. But if you're just looking for piping layout and making sure you're getting charged and everything right, you don't really have to fill all that information in. All right. So with that said, and that's what I'm after showing here is just making sure you get your piping laid out properly and you got the correct additional charge calculated. All right. So with that said, so I'm not changing any of this. So with that said, I've already did that. I've already did manual selection, selected the 5-ton unit, and add. And then I can close this, and you'll see where a 5-ton unit was added. Well, the only reason why I did that is to show you how to get rid of it if I didn't want that, because I don't want that unit. I don't want a 5-ton. And then we can go back to air handler again, and we're going to do manual selection again. And I really just wanted a 3-ton. So I clicked it. You can see I clicked it. I close this. I put add. And now you see I added a 3-ton unit. And then you can go up here and you can actually select a different unit if you want. So let's do a wall mount. We're still in manual selection. So let's do a 1-ton wall mount. And then I can close that and I can hit add. Oh, it didn't like what I did. So let me do this again. And manual selection. I'll do the 12 again. Add. There it goes. There's my wall mount. I don't know why it was being goofy with me for a minute there, but that's okay. All right. So now if I wanted another 12K, so if I wanted a 3-ton and two 12Ks, I could just add another 12K. Or if I wanted to add, let's say, a cassette, Let's do the 360. I can click on that, manual selection, and let's say I'm going to do a 9K cassette. Click on it once. I hit add. Oh, it didn't like me. Manual selection, 9K, click, add, and there it went. All right. So I've got my 9K cassette. I've got my 1-ton wall mount, and I got a 3-ton air handler. All right. So now, if that's all I'm using on indoors, then I can move on to outdoor unit. And you got to hit this plus button, because what you have to do is you have to change this to single hertz or single phase. Sorry. And it's automatically populated heat pump. We do not have a single phase BRF unit. We only have a single phase MultiPRO heat pump. All right. So with that said, then you come down here, you take these and you drag them in. There's 1, 2, 3. And then I got to add my outdoor unit. Now, when I add my outdoor unit, if I want the ultra heat, I can keep it on ultra heat GMV6 mini. That would be the MultiPRO Ultra. Or I can do the standard, which is the GMV5 MultiPRO. And then I can do a manual selection. I just want to show you this. So this shows you the capabilities you could do. You could either do the 4-ton or the 5-ton. Just want to let you know the LA series is the previous model. Those are going to end up being deleted off of here. So don't select those because we don't have them anymore. Make sure you're getting everything you're selecting is going to end in LC, whether it's ultra or standard. So select whichever one you want. And this also gives you connection ratio. Remember, with MultiPRO, your connection ratio has to stay between 50 and 135%. So if I wanted to use the 4-ton with the indoor units that I had selected, I could choose that. I'd be at 118%, almost 119% connection ratio. If I did the 5-ton, then I would be at 95% connection ratio. All right. Well, I'm going to do the new Ultra just to show you that too. Click on the Ultra. I do manual selection. And it shows that I have the 4-ton Ultra or the 5-ton Ultra. And you'll see the difference in the model numbers here. The Ultra has 2 V's in it. It still ends in LC. The model numbers are almost identically the same, only the Ultra will have a VV in them. So I could do the 4-ton at 118.75%, or I could do the 5-ton at 95%. So let's go with the 5-ton. Now that I hit confirm, now it loaded it all in. So I've got my outdoor unit, which is the GMV V60, which is what I chose, and the indoor units that I chose as well. So now we go into piping. All right. So as I've said in training, if you want to do multiple Ys, you have to lay it out in selection software. And here's why, because it allows you to be able to set the piping and get your lengths in there, and it'll calculate whether or not the pipe sizes need to change at all. So you can also do it with a header assembly as well, if you'd rather still stay with that. The system builder app that we have automatically defaults when you have more than 2 indoor units. It automatically defaults to the header, and it won't let you do multiple Ys. So if you're got a job that you really want to do multiple Ys, you need to lay this out in selection software. So let me show you that first. So if I click on the red line here, whatever your pipe length is going to be, remember, we always want to say at least 10 feet. So let's just put in 10 feet. And then, if you don't know exactly how many elbows, I would put in at least 2 to start with. You can always come back and redo this program afterwards to make sure You got it right. So it's automatically going to move your pipes. I was just going to show you that. So it did this pipe. It's got 10 feet and 2 elbows there. But I can go here. And let's say this is going to be 30 feet. And we'll put 2 elbows next. And it automatically jumps to the next pipe. Yeah, it does let me move that out of the way. Let me show you that. So, all right. Let's say this is 28 feet. And we'll put it down as 2 elbows. Next. And this one's going to be 40 feet. And 2 elbows. Next. And then let's say this is going to be let's say 40 feet. So here's where I want to show you something. And 2 elbows. Oh, 2 elbows. Finish. So this 9K wall mount uses 1/4 3/8 piping. All right, let's do this. This kind of goes back to the basic rule layout. 55 feet. Next. Finish. It changed that pipe size from 3/8 to 3/8. So that's fine. Just keep in mind, you're going to have to, you're going to have to increase the pipe size from here. So you're going to have 3/8, 3/8 all the way to the indoor unit. And then you're going to have to reduce back down to 1/4 to be able to hook it up. Okay. So that's where I say with with Y branches, if you could possibly set this up to where, let's say, maybe I move this Y. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's move this Y. If you're doing this on the actual layout at 40 feet. Next, I'm going to close that for a minute. So now that pushes this wide, let's say down further. So let's hopefully that would reduce this pipe size. So maybe instead of that, we'll be at like 35 feet. Next, finish. And then here, let's say this is at, let's say it's 49 feet. Next, finish. 3/8 quarter. So now your line set size is the same as your connection on the indoor unit with that 9K. So now you don't have to worry about having this larger pipe size and then having to reduce it back down. This is going to be the exact size pipe that hooks up to that unit. Same with here. It's going to be 1/4 all the way to that unit because I'm not. So now 49 feet, they say 50 feet or 49 feet, but I'm going to do this one more time. Let's change that to 50. Next. Finish. See, it's kind of bouncing around. It don't know what to do with it because so it did it though. It's 3/8, 3/8. So that's 1 foot difference. I don't think you could still probably stay 1/4 3/8 there. That 1 foot's not going to make you or break you. But like I said, if I go 49 feet or less, it's the same as our basic layout shows, it keeps my pipe sizes the same. So what you want to try to always do with multiple Y branches is try to keep your Y branches pushed out, and whatever your piping layout is, push your Y pipes out, your Y branches out to where you try to keep this line set from the Y branch to your indoor unit, this one from the Y branch to that indoor unit, and then this from this Y branch to that indoor unit. If you keep all of those under the 49 feet with these smaller indoor units, then you keep it below 49 feet, you're not going to have any pipe size changes. Now, when you get up here into like the 3 ton, or a 3.5 ton or a 4 ton. Those are all going to be 3/8, 5/8. So even if you were at 55 feet here, your pipe size is not going to change. And I'll show you that. So we're at 30 feet with this pipe size. Let me change that to 55 feet. Next, finish. 55 feet, we're still 3/8, 5/8 pipe. Okay. All right. And it gives you your additional charge amount. Now, let's say I wanted to do this whole layout and use the branch, the header assembly instead. All right. So, click on that and it says all designs will be reset. Please confirm whether or not you want to. So, yes. All right. So now what I got to do is you got to drag these in. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I goofed. Sorry. First, I got to drag this in and always drag it down and then drag it over until you get the check mark. There we go. Now I take the indoor unit. A second. I take the indoor unit, drag it into here, then to the check mark. Drag it into here, into the check mark. Drag it into here, and then into the check mark. There we go. Now, now I can do my pipe sizes again. Let's say this is 10 feet. Again, we want to keep a 10-foot minimum. Next. And then this one's going to be still, again, this is the 3 ton, so it doesn't really matter. I could go 50 feet, and that pipe size is not going to change. Next. So let me close that for just a minute. I want to show you this. So we're still 3/8, 5/8 pipe. Now these are the ones that we tell you stay under 49 feet. So let's do this. And we'll do 48 feet. 2 elbows. Next. We'll do 48 feet. 2 elbows. Finish. All right. I got that unit, that unit, and that unit. Now this you would just cap. Okay. All right. So wiring. So it kind of gives you just a wiring layout. Your D1 and D2 wires, it shows you your daisy chain there. And then it tells you what controls you're going to get. So the air handlers come with the XE70 33H controller. And then the wall mount and the cassette come with the remotes. So, and this is just showing you that you got to have 208, 230 volt single phase 60 hertz power to that unit, that unit, that unit. Now, this is 15 amp, but that's without a heat kit. If you add a heat kit in there, that goes up. Your power supply is going to be different. So keep that in mind as well. And then this is also showing you that matching resistance. So at the last indoor unit, you have to have that 1/4 watt, 120 ohm resistor that comes shipped with the outdoor unit. And you connect that across D1 and D2. Same thing we talked about in all the rest of the training. Central control. We have the central controls. They're pretty nice. I just don't know that it would warrant the expense with MultiPRO, especially if you got a job that's only going to have 3 indoor units. But just a kind of FYI, they are available in case you decided you wanted to use that. And then you can go to the preview page. I almost never use that, but you can hit the preview page. There we go. So that kind of gives you a full layout. So it gives you what everything means. System proposal, outdoor unit details, indoor unit detail, piping diagrams, wiring diagrams, all of that stuff as you kind of go through it here. It lists all your equipment. It lists your header assembly. Now, if you go back to the other one where we were using multiple Ys, it would tell you the number and the quantity of wires. And then reducer expander pipes if you need them. And then your controllers that are going to come with it, all your pipe lengths. And then it gives you your extra refrigerant, 2.44 pounds of refrigerant. And it actually gives you an estimate to your communication line wiring, so on. So all of this is just kind of a preview of the whole job layout. And then you can actually go to report and you get that same information. You can do a summary doc. You just got to name the file. So this is just for training. And then as long as you choose the destination file, so you can send, to this PC or wherever your document's going to go and export it. It'll send the summary documentation. Make sure you check that. Make sure you check VRF so it does go, and hit export, and it'll send this file directly to it. So then when you're all done, anyway, that's how you do it. You just export it out and it'll send it right to your computer. And then you can close it. You can save the job or not. I'm going to say no. But if you save it, it'll be in there when you get back into your software. If you needed to go back in there and your actual piping on the job was different than what your layout was, you go in there, you pull up that same file, you can make your changes and get your new charge amount and all that.